In this video, we'll be talking about natal Sagittarius moon in the 5th house and what this placement means for you if you have it in your chart. And with that being said, what the moon represents in astrology is it represents emotions and sense of fulfillment and our upbringing, as well as an internal aspect of our personality that people only get to know when they get to know us on a personal or private level, or when they become observant of our emotional nature. Because the moon is really about our emotional nature, and it's about our emotional needs, and also about our private selves or our private lives, because it rules the 4th house and the sign Cancer, which is all about family, privacy, and our roots. It's also about our deepest selves. So when the moon is in the 5th house, this indicates that your deepest self is your ego. And you defend your ego because the moon also shows an aspect of ourselves that we are sensitive to or that we defend. So when people disrespect your ego or disrespect your convictions and your beliefs, you tend to stand up for those things, and you feel quite sensitive about those things. Because the sign Sagittarius, which is the sign that the moon is in, is all about convictions and beliefs or philosophy. So that's the first thing about this placement. The next thing is that when the moon is in the 5th house, or rather when it's in the sign Sagittarius, this shows somebody that needs a sense of direction or something to believe in order to feel inspired and in order to feel well or feel good like they usually do, or feel as themselves or as they really are. And when it's in the 5th house, which is all about ego, confidence, and capabilities, this shows to me that these individuals have a need for something to believe in, and that their beliefs, their philosophy, or their convictions are things that make them feel more capable, confident, passionate, or inspired. And they have this emotional need to feel confident and capable in order to feel well. Also, when the moon is in fire signs, which Sagittarius is a fire sign, and the 5th house is a fire house, this shows somebody that tends to be more self-reliant. And they have a need to be more self-reliant or to feel capable. Especially when the moon is in the 5th house. This will show somebody that has a need to demonstrate their capabilities or to be self-reliant in order to fulfill a sense of pride that they have. So a lot of times they depend on themselves, or they are self-reliant out of pride. So the next point is that, as I was saying, they're quite defensive of their convictions. And since the 5th house is about validation or about being seen, there could be an emotional need for validation, especially for moral validation, or for validation of being correct or of being inspiring, or of being a leader towards others, because Sagittarius is all about teaching others, or is also about morality. It's about being right. So these individuals, as children, they needed that validation from parents that they were right whenever they did something right. And that could be something that subconsciously continues through their actions as adults. Because the moon shows emotional needs, and when it's in the 5th house, this is about validation or being seen. So the next point is also that these individuals have an emotional need to demonstrate or be seen as an example of their beliefs or of their convictions. So, for example, if the belief is religious, these people have a need to be an example of their religious beliefs or morality. So they like for people to see them, or they like for people to look at them as an example of why they should believe in the things that they do. So that was kind of confusing how I worded it, but essentially they need for people to see, the person with the moon in Sagittarius in the 5th house needs others to see them as an example of why they should believe the same things as the moon in Sagittarius in the 5th house. And they like to be an example of success or of capability. So as I was saying too, they're attached to their ego, and especially what they've learned to be right. And this could be things that they've learned from experience too, because Sagittarius is about experiences. And when the moon is here, it shows somebody that's quite observant and that learns from their own observations or from their own mistakes and experiences. And the 5th house is also about learning because it's about childhood too. And generally speaking, these people are really fast learners and they're quite wise as well. And their experience in matters of romance and dating too, because which this is kind of random, but the reason I bring it up is because the 5th house is about romance and dating and starting relationships with others. And people with the moon in Sagittarius in the 5th house, they have learned a lot about self-confidence and about themselves throughout life. They're very rooted to their ego and to their sense of self-worth. And so they are a master at that aspect of relationships, which is the aspect of being yourself, being strong in who you are, and valuing yourself, which is the first step in romance, because the first step is to demonstrate yourself or to basically entertain somebody else, because that's what romance really is, or that's what the dating process is really about. And the 5th house is all about entertainment. It's all about romance. It's all about dating. So somebody with the moon here has experience or wisdom, at least when it comes to matters of romance, especially dating. With that being said, they have this need to be more confident or more capable, and this need to be inspired or to believe in something, especially in some sort of higher beliefs or higher power or higher principles, which gives them confidence and inspiration. And then the last thing to summarize this placement is that they need to be validated for their correctness, or they need to be in a position to be seen for their beliefs, or to demonstrate their convictions, especially as an example of success to other people. And they like for other people to be inspired by them, and for other people to be able to depend on their energy or follow them, or be entertained, or to learn from them. That's the most important thing. But also, lastly, they're good learners themselves, and they're very defensive or attached to what they've learned to be right, and they will not let somebody, cross that information or cross that knowledge, especially if it is having to do with their ego being involved too, which a lot of times their ego can get involved into their convictions. Now, with that being said, I appreciate the support and you guys watching. I hope that this video was insightful and that you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, then don't forget to leave a like on this video and subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more content. If you would like a personalized natal chart reading breaking down each of your placements in a video format, as well as your general personality, your talents, and your destiny based on your North Node, then check the description where I have an email where you can contact me that way and book a reading. Or if you'd like a free natal chart reading for being a patron, then subscribe to my Patreon, where I do a free natal chart reading for each of my Jupiter tier patrons, which is my higher tier, and I offer a 50% discount off of readings and bookings for my lower tier, which is my moon tier patrons. So anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed, and with that being said, I will talk to you guys sometime soon in another video. Thanks for watching.